Okay, noble idiots, before we jump into this week's movie, let's play our favorite game. Guess the flick, you beautiful idiots. I'll give you the first 5 clues now and 5 more at the end so you can flex those brain noodles and try to figure out what next week's show is all about. Stick around for the reveal and for a bonus treat because I'll be dropping one of my original Slumbering Knights songs straight into your ear holes at the end. Clue number 1. This movie features a man whose communication style is, let's call it, military aggressive. Clue number 2. The main character struggles deeply with the concept of being a normal person in society. Clue number 3. A group of kids are forced to learn discipline from someone who does not understand the word gentle. And clue number 4. The lead character's solution to emotional distress is yelling louder. Clue number 5. One child in this film receives some, let's say, extremely questionable medical advice. Imagine rolling into a war-torn city, thinking the scariest thing you'll meet is a sniper. Then something invisible rips through your squad like a blender made of nightmares. Welcome to Spectral, where ghosts aren't ghosts. DARPA is basically Hogwarts, and survival depends on a pair of fancy goggles. Tonight, on Noble Thoughts by Idiots, we chase the shadows that bite back. Thar She Blows, the Noble Thoughts by Idiots podcast, a show about a bunch of landlubbers who talk about board games, movies, video games, and anything in between. Now let it be known we don't take ourselves seriously, and neither should you. So sit back, relax, and prepare to walk the plank of the depths of our minds. I be your host, Captain Bagels, joined always by me faithful crew. Let me introduce you to fellow podcaster and longtime friend, Ripple Goose, or Goose for short, a man whose sense of time is less clock and more choose your own adventure. And our newest recruit is Zero, as in he has robbed 0 banks, allegedly. We haven't run a background check because honestly, that sounds like work. How are you doing tonight, gentlemen?
Very nice.
Very good.
Anything you want to get off of the essential banter for tonight? Anything interesting?
Well, Christmas is, 2 weeks away? And I'm not ready.
Haven't gotten it. I'm going to have to admit right there, I haven't gotten all my shopping done as well.
I would say I did 90% of my shopping on Amazon 2 days ago.
The same. Same for me. Now, are you all prepared there, Mr. Zero?
I am as prepared as I can be. I got the majority of my gifts already. It's split between Amazon, like everybody else, and also T-Fury.
T-Fury?
T-Fury is a website where you can actually design T-shirts and post them on there, and actually purchase designs that people have made. So you can find all different kinds of T-shirts on there that are just made by random people for all different kinds of stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have some Predator or Aliens memorabilia on there at some point.
Oh, they definitely do.
Yes. I will have to look into that. Do you have anything else you want to shout out before we move on?
I mean, right now you got the Game Awards going on. I don't know if you guys are checking that out at all.
That is something that I want to be I hear they supposedly are going to reveal Half-Life 3 potentially.
I haven't seen that yet. I saw a announcement for the next Divinity game from Larian Studios so far, and what was the first game I saw? Oh, it looks like a sequel to the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic series.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
See,
So, I saw a list the other day that I sent you, not realizing it was fake.
what gave it away?
Master Chief gets executed on stage, so that's cool.
That was the part that I was like, everything looks good. Up until I saw that, I was like, oh.
It wasn't the Red Dead Redemption movie with Jack Black?
Yeah.
I saw that list. I did see that list.
Yes.
Speaking of that, though, they did have talks about that, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan did talk about wanting to play Arthur Morgan.
Really?
Yeah.
So that would be cool.
Well, was there a couple other games they announced on that? I know it's not a real list, but what was also on that fake list?
Yeah, I got it pulled up. Hold on, let me see. Jeff gets gored by a wild boar that runs onto the stage at the end of the show.
That's accurate.
Kojima would never let that happen.
Goonerbait Gotcha game revealed. For all those in the know.
Isn't that all gotcha games?
And Titanfall 3, always a big rumor.
Okay, so honestly, when I saw the list, that's the first thing I saw, and I was like, I would love that, because Titanfall 1 is excellent, but Titanfall 2 is a masterpiece, in my opinion.
And what was the other one? New Quake game. I thought that was real too.
That was real?
Or it could have been real.
Oh, it could have been.
No, I thought it sounded legit.
I honestly think because they redid the Doom games and they have like Eternal, and honestly I think that is the natural progression that they would move into the Quake series. If anybody remembers Quake Wars, which was like a Battlefield-like version, but it was all Quake-based enemies.
Vaguely.
No.
Yeah, that was I think that was would have been an interesting take. I'd like to see if they do something like that today. Well, I think, unless you guys have anything else you want to add in, I think we were just going to move on into the movie review and get right to it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Well, I'll read off this description of the movie and we'll get kicking. Here we go. In a war-torn Eastern European city, American soldiers find themselves under attack by the deadliest enemy known to man, angry vape clouds. Yes, weaponized fog. The kind that looks like it escaped from a spirit Halloween machine with unresolved trauma. The Pentagon panics and calls it the only man who can handle it, a DARPA engineer whose entire personality is, I once took apart my toaster to see how the coils worked. Armed with prototype goggles, janky homemade light cannons, and the confidence of someone who's Googled science stuff once, he and a squad of extremely sweaty soldiers battle translucent murder smoke that phases through walls like Casper on pre-workout. Along the way, they discover the truth. These are ghosts. They're angry 3D printed souls made from dead people's brain sands, because apparently DARPA took think outside the box way too literally. Now, the team must shut down a factory that is basically, what if Amazon Prime shipped your consciousness directly into a war crime? Will they survive? Will the vape ghost hit max cloud form? Will someone tell the main guy to stop making weapons out of spare tank parts like he's doing a Mythbusters speedrun? Only Netflix knows. So, have either of you seen this before tonight?
No. And not only have I not seen it or heard of it before, I was surprised to find out how old it was after I watched the movie.
Okay, that's interesting because, as you know, the movie came out in 2016. And so, judging by your response to that, did you guys... I know we'll do our reviews at the end, so don't have to worry about that, but would it be safe to say you enjoyed them?
I liked the movie. It definitely came before, or right, I guess, as Netflix was transitioning into big budget films. Because I think before they put in a ton of money to get like A-list actors like Adam Sandler or The Rock or
Ryan Reynolds or anybody else.
All the big name A-list stars. I recognized pretty much everybody in this movie, but the entire time I'm watching this, I'm like, this is like a good-looking B movie. And that's what Netflix was known for, I think, for the longest time.
So, do you have any thoughts on that, Angel?
I agree with that. It felt like it was a step above a Sci-Fi Channel original, but not quite big budget. Just like you said, I recognized a bunch of people from the movie as well, but not from like other than there was like one character I recognized from like big name movies, but everybody else was like more from like smaller projects and stuff. I would say that, to answer the original question of did you like it, it was okay. That's where I would rank it in to start off. Just saying, starting off.
Okay.
Yeah, I would qualify it as entertaining.
So I chose this movie specifically because I think this movie is highly underrated and people don't even know it exists half the time. And it came out back, as I said. So to get some of this data out here, it was released in 2016. It's an hour and 48 minutes. It's PG-13, sci-fi action, military thriller. It was a Legendary Pictures and Netflix collaboration and done by the United States, but it was primarily filmed in Budapest, Hungary, in a fictional Moldova, I believe is what they had it as. Now, the interesting thing is the director had never done a film before and has not done a film since. And I will have to say, he's gone back to like commercials and all that, but I think for making one movie and you've never made a movie before, I think he nailed it.
Yeah, knowing that, it's shockingly good. From that stat alone.
From what I saw, the movie was originally supposed to get a theatrical release by Universal, and then they just decided to offload it.
Correct. I have that stat as well. The interesting thing, and I'm not sure if you look, so I'm going to take a guess here. Do you guys know the budget of this film?
Oh, I do not off the top of my head.
Don't look. I don't want you to look. I want you to take a guess what you think the budget was for this film.
I'll say 125.
I probably would put it around like the 100 as well, because they did use CGI in the movie, and it was not bad CGI. So I feel like that's probably where the majority of the budget went.
Okay, so the movie was approximately $70 million. That is still a large budget for a movie that no one really talks about.
Yeah, but you gotta adjust for inflation.
2016, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be, we can make some adjustments. I'm hoping
there's been
it's
a lot
not
of
that
inflation
bad.
since 2016.
Yes. All right, let's call it $500 million. Fair enough. Okay, moving. So, okay, so just getting this movie snapshot, like I said, that's impressive that it was just that director had never done a movie before. It was supposed to be a theatrical release, but then Netflix ended up buying it. It was primarily of this movie done with practical effects. The only thing that they primarily did that was of the special effects, obviously, was the Spectrals that they had done.
Not the energy weapons?
Yeah, and but they used a lot of... Well, here. So this is editing. As it was, Spectral was originally slated for a theatrical release with Universal Pictures and Legendary Pictures in August 2016. But as I said...
I could see... Yeah, I could picture this being a Legendary film.
Yeah. So it was sold to Netflix where it released worldwide. Budapest, Moldova. So the majority of the movie, which is set in the Moldovan capital... And I'm not going to try and pronounce that. So whatever, that is too many syllables. So was actually shot across various streets and buildings in the Budapest, Hungary area. So they went fully practical for most of this movie. Despite the heavily CGI-dependent nature of the Spectrals, the filmmakers relied extensively on practical effects and real locations during principal photography to ground the action in reality. And I believe that actually comes through in the movie.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments there, Goose?
Yeah, I think visually it looked really good. Kind of impressed, like especially like at our advanced stage, we realized 2016 wasn't really that long ago. But when you look at some stuff, especially on the internet from 2016, you're like, this looks like trash.
Yeah. But also what was interesting was, I didn't know this, but a prequel comic was actually released by Netflix for this that you can still get on Amazon to this day. That dives deeper into the the Spectrals and other ongoings. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Okay.
So as far as goofs and mistakes go, there's like two little ones. The almighty glue gun. A noticeable mistake occurs when the lead character, Klein, is quickly assembling the new high-tech ghost-busting weaponry. He is seen using a hot glue gun in a manner that mimics an electric drill, implying a piece of equipment was substituted on set.
Okay.
Basically, they made do with what they had.
When I saw that, my very first thought was, is that a friggin' glue gun?
Yeah.
Because you could see it, like, you could see him, like, jamming it in there and, like, moving it around. That's probably not how that should work.
Yeah, I don't think I noticed it off the movie magic. I definitely missed that. They do say that if you want to be real, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's really too many critical points in this movie. Like, I think it, as an overall, I think it was a very well done story. If you want to get into the nitpicky, one person noted that the plot hole that the U.S. military flew a DARPA scientist all the way to a war zone to identify an anomaly captured on tape. Yet it never occurred to anyone in the military before he arrived to simply change the thermal camera filter to determine if the spectrals were biological or not. So
Okay.
That is the one call out.
There is one part, and I'm sure we're going to get to this, but I was watching it, and I'm just like, mind you, I'm cheap and have the Netflix with the commercials. So I'm watching it, I'm like, wait, did something get cut off? Or was I just not paying attention, or did they not show it? Was when all of a sudden they're talking about using the camera and getting a kill shot. I'm like, wait, you're going to try to kill this entity with the camera? I don't understand.
Are you're talking mid-movie, not the final scene where they're trying to take the kill shot? Or is that where you're talking about?
No, like the first third of the movie, I would say.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Yeah, that was a little, maybe verbiage could have been better. For me, as we were talking about earlier, as cast in this movie, the two people that stood out to me that I knew of was Brees Greenwood, who was General Orland. Like, I've seen that guy. The most notable roles I know him from is, like, Star Trek. He was Pike, I guess, like a high-end officer. And he was also in iRobot. And the other guy that I noticed was in the lab at the very beginning of the movie, Stephen Root, or Dr. Mandala, who is, I know him. What do you guys know him from? Because I know my number one pick.
Well, I'll let Zero go first. I've been talking.
I couldn't tell you what I knew him from. I immediately recognized him, and I'm like, I've seen him from a lot. Oh, Dodgeball.
That's it. That's my number one pick. I was like, it's Dodgeball. It's Gordon.
Yeah, so I would say I recognized at least 80% of the cast, or the main characters anyway. But I couldn't tell you anything they've been in.
Well, I was doing a little research, and in World War Z, so our DARPA guy, who's the agent, he is the head of the U.S. of the Navy SEALs, I believe, when they go to, like, Korea in World War Z, I believe.
Okay.
So it's funny because now he went from being DARPA agent to, years later he's like the head of a SEAL team in the movie. So but they are a lot of character actors, I think. Like,
yes,
they never, never. I can't place, as you've said, where they've been, but I see them all the time.
Like,
Right.
for example, all those military, like the Dagger Squad
Yeah.
actors, I'm like, I've seen them before, and I know they've all played soldiers in every single movie I've seen them in.
And it's funny because I wonder if they get typecast or they're just really good at pulling that role off.
I wonder if it's one of those things where they get, like, military training for Hollywood, and then it's all, it's just cheaper to keep picking these guys rather than sending more and more people to get training.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, it's crazy when you listen. I listen to a lot of podcasts and movies and all that, and they talk about these side actors that may have like 30 seconds to 2 minutes of actual screen time, and they will send those individuals off to like military training for a couple weeks or doctor training based on whatever the role is, and then find out that they were cut from the movie. But so they were sent thousands of dollars, and they're like, look guys, and you're not even in the movie. That's crazy. Well, I think I'm going to move us to the first section. So we got the movie kicks off with a killer cold open, patrol moving through war-torn streets, tension thick enough to spread on toast, and the first unnerving glimpse of something moving far too fast to be human. We transition to the DARPA R&D lab, and here the unsettling detail. No one is wearing protective gear, eye shields, or anything even remotely safe for handling experimental optics. That alone tells you how improvised and chaotic this conflict has become. At least in the lab. Dr. Mark Klein, all science and skepticism, is thrown into a situation where the tech could explain everything, but absolutely doesn't. So that is where we're at in the first section. Did you guys have any comments in the cold open?
Yeah, actually, you skipped the entire scene that would qualify for my I wouldn't have done that.
Okay, what do you got?
The opening scene with the soldier Davis, when he's requesting for backup, being told, oh, we'll get you back up in 8 to 10 minutes. There's like no tension whatsoever. He's there by himself. And he's just like, nah, I can't wait 8 to 10 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead by myself. He's acting like he's Doom Guy all of a sudden.
And actually, that's a perfect I wouldn't have done that. And I really got to make a bumper for that one because I don't have one for that yet.
And it's not like him going ahead, like waiting for backup wouldn't have helped. More soldiers just would have died. But it's like, there was no tension. Why are you going ahead by yourself?
That scene to me seems so out of place. It
Right.
because first of all, the scene to me looked like it was set in the jungle or something, and then all of a sudden you switch to DARPA and then Eastern Europe. It's like, where did this take place?
Yeah, I think that's a perfect call out there, Zero, with there was no tension. There was no reason for him to push forward. It wasn't like he was trying to rescue somebody, and he was a single soldier in a war-torn environment.
Right. It's just like, why? I don't understand what the point of that plot was, other than to give us the first introduction of what you see, but it didn't make sense, like from a logical standpoint.
So the part for me that I saw in that whole, you have the cold open and they move to the lab. They're using this very advanced laser system, and clearly they don't care about their eyes because they fire this laser so nonchalantly in their lab, and they have absolutely no eye shields or protection or anything. Like, I'm like, this is our most brilliant scientist. He's blinded himself. That was my takeaway for that first scene. But if you don't do you have anything else to add, Goose?
For me, that was all. Like, I'm kind of a terrible movie watcher. Like, or maybe I'm kind of the greatest movie watcher. If I say so myself. Because I'm not one of these people that sits there and like thinks about the movie when I'm watching it typically, unless we're doing something like this. I usually just sit there and take it for what it is. I'm like, oh, okay. Seems a little dangerous, but I can't believe all those high-power politicians are there. None of them are protected from anything.
Yeah. It's like I said, no slab safety or PPL, PPL or PPP.
Personal protective equipment, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. PPE. I was like, I know the term, damn it. I was trying to think of
it. Man.
Yeah. I'm the same with you, though. Like, I just sit back and usually watch a movie just to enjoy it. And I think I'm going to be more critical in this movie because I actually, tried paying attention to details while watching the movie because I wanted to take, notes so I could remember the movie. Yeah. And I just watched it in a manner that I probably wouldn't normally watch the movie.
True.
Because even Klein, named the main character, he's part of DARPA. And when the politicians are like, how can we use this in a military... have you used it on real-life things? He's like, I don't want it to be used against, like, people. Like, I'm like, who do you work for? What are you talking about right now? Like,
why do you work for DARPA?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think we're... Oh, you got something else?
Nope.
I think I'm going to move to the next section. Klein accompanies a Delta team out into the field, and the tension skyrockets when a single spectral entity takes out multiple soldiers with terrifying speed. They can't fight it. They can barely see it. The squad frantically retreat, and footage review hammer home one truth. This enemy breaks all the rules. This is the "oh, we're screwed" moment where the mystery becomes a threat. So yes, we just covered a lot of ground in there. So,
well, this is actually one of the spots in the movie where I took the most notes and had the most impact on me. Like, that was my scene of the movie when they go into that building.
Showstop. Oh, is this your showstopper?
Yes, and they're not only that.
Showstopper.
Go.
So not only that, it was also my quote of the movie.
Oh wait! Before you say it. That is my wait.
I think I know what you're going to pick.
I know what I have, but that's kind of what... Oh, wait. Here we go. I'm going to make this...
My drop. What's the quote that caught your ear, made you chuckle, or gave you a fear? My drop.
Yeah! Okay, here we go. Wait. So I'm going to go for it, because I have my
To give my
line.
perspective on this part of the movie. So, I chuckled at a couple things. This wasn't my quote, but it was up there. When they were introducing the DARPA scientist, and I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, so I don't remember his name. But they were introducing the DARPA scientist to the squad, Dagger Squad. And the captain comes over and he's talking to his soldiers, saying why they should respect him and all that kind of stuff. And then he grabs his soldier's sack, and he was like, he also made the armor that protects your balls.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, are you serious? I mean, great invention to have. That's not my tech. I wish I had, but probably should.
Your tech envy?
Oh, yeah. And then just the whole scene when they enter that... I thought, first of all, it was shot really well, especially when they're entering the building, like that overhead shot that you see all, like, this whole squad move into the building. First of all, I didn't realize there was that many people involved.
That was hot. I was like, I think 24.
It was something like that, yeah.
It was a whole squad, pretty much.
Much larger than what you would think a special forces squad would go into an area with. Now, mind you, I'm no expert. I don't know. You call me stupid, what you will. Seemed a very high number for quote unquote covert ops.
Well,
I agree. Like, as they started entering the building, I was like, who emptied the clown car? I'm like, where did they all come from? They just, like, more and more are pouring in.
they did call out that they were going to heavily enemy territory, so they were trying to do a show of force. And honestly, I thought, my biggest qualm a lot of times when you watch a movie and you have all these military dudes is that they call it clipping, where like they put the barrel behind somebody's head by accident. Like,
oh yeah,
they didn't do that. I was watching, and they actually did all of their movements were very thought out and organized, and they worked together as a team, and I thought that was actually very well done. I really, I guess my tech envy of this movie, because I thought the visor that they would flick down on the goggles was actually very cool, and that was that is definitely my tech envy section of the movie.
Yeah, see, the goggles, I didn't have them as my tech envy. I didn't really see anything in there that I would love to have, but I did have the Spectral goggles as the needed the I need that weapon, the category for trying to use it for survival.
Yeah,
It's not something I want, but if we're going up against something, I could see a purpose of wanting to have it for that situation.
I made the assumption as well that those goggles also integrated night vision or IR or something.
I did as
that.
well. Mm-hmm. I thought they were hyperspectral, so they have multiple spectrums, is what I would think.
Yeah, it's just they had no battery life.
which was
Right.
yeah, and I think that would definitely be an advantage because they weren't super bulky like traditional night vision goggles. So that's also what I liked about them. They were so sleek.
Yes.
Oh, and I do have to mention this section also had my wouldn't have done that moment.
Okay.
So, sorry, not to keep... this was kind of like the most... I guess this is why I like the scene the most. So, my quote was when, after they find the guy in the tub, and they go upstairs to look for the quote-unquote rest of the Utah team.
Yeah.
I believe that's who it was. When they start... The guy goes into the room and sees the Spectre. So he starts shooting it, and the people in the car are like, the bullets just passed right through him. And the guy, or first, let me go back.
Yeah.
My wouldn't have done that moment is when he sees something, he takes the goggles off, and they're like, no, put the goggles back on. He's like, well, I don't see anything. Well, if we're seeing what you're seeing, you can see something. So that was my... I wouldn't have done that. So
Maybe
after
he was colorblind.
maybe, well, you would think they would have tested for that. So that leads to my quote. After Mr. Goggle Taker Offer bites the dust, and they see that 5.56 bullets aren't doing anything, which is fairly high-powered round. I mean, not the highest power. It's a rifle round. The quote from the armored car from the captain is, and I wrote it down, bullets went right through it. Switch to the heavy rounds. What?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
In that scene, did you get the feeling, like the same feeling from Aliens? When like Ripley's
yes.
telling hey, tell them to get out, and the guy's just like, no.
I'm very glad you said that. But go ahead. I have a comment after you're done.
I got that exact same feeling. I'm like, it feels like they ripped this out of Aliens. Like he's telling him to pull back, and he's just like ignoring the expert. It's like they did the same thing in Aliens with Ripley. Like she's doing the same thing. Pull out, pull out, pull out. At least, I mean, I don't know that I would have gotten out of the tank. That seemed like a bad move afterwards, but
So I'm glad you said the Aliens vibe because I wrote it down in my notes. This whole transition when they were heading in, there were multiple armored APCs. They're showing footage from each one of the soldiers' perspective, just like the Colonial Marines and the alien scene. So they have the APCs, they have the heavily armored soldiers, you have the cameras, it was giving, and you have the lieutenants, staying back in the car, taking it all in and doing get out of there, exactly like, or increased firing measures and all that. I believe that was a scene right out of Aliens.
right.
Yeah, I did notice this movie took a lot from different movies. Just overall, like I've noticed a lot of similarities to other movies.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so hard these days for like any movie to do something and not be like, well, that's like the scene out of Aliens, and truly that was like a scene out of Aliens. It was pretty awesome. But here is this is my
drop. What's the quote that caught your ear, made you chuckle, or gave you a fear? Mic drop.
It's the only one I got, so I'm using it. Okay, my mic drop was when the DARPA agent came in, and when they were first showing him the footage of the Spectrals, and his quote is, your technician's job is to find glitches. So if you see glitches, your job is to find the enemy, so you see the enemy. Locals believe in spirits, so they see spirits, and everyone is biased in one way or another. I was watching with my wife, and that was her quote of the movie, and I actually thought that was a really good pick. So that's what I went with.
That was good. That was the second time he saw the Spectrals. That entire sequence messed me up, because first he's shown the Spectral in the headset by the was it the sergeant or the general, and then he takes him over to meet the female scientist, and she's like, please sign this NDA so that way you can't tell us what you saw. And I'm like, why is she giving it to him after he's already seen the
Yeah.
first footage? What happened here?
Yes.
And he works for DARPA. I'm pretty sure he already signed NDAs.
Yeah, he's probably in pretty high end. Like, we have to give you another level on top of your top super tight top secret clearance.
Like, I think they're giving him, like, Marvel NDAs.
Yeah. So, another part in the movie, in this particular scene, it was brutal how a single Spectral, as you said, there was about 24 soldiers or so, just went through all of those soldiers so quickly, and the sound that they would make when it would hit through a soldier, I thought was really effective.
Yes.
Yeah, like, it was brutal, and you're like, no, another one down. Like, they were basically being flash frozen and burned simultaneously, is basically what they were going with in description. And I will say, New Fear Unlocked is that going out like that. Both freezing to death and burning alive.
Okay, see where I'm saying I'm stupid? It's now hitting me. Is that the whole point of that first scene where he's showing the politicians the laser, where they're like, instant temperature change?
No,
Yep.
I think I felt like that was just there just to show the guy was smart. Because they never brought that gun up again. It had nothing to do with anything.
But
I was expecting it to, like, come back later in the movie, and when they just went to the Spectral technology, I'm like, oh, okay, so that gun in the beginning, that's not coming back.
But what I think they were doing there is it wasn't about the gun. It's about the explanation that you can die, you can be flash frozen and vaporized, or flash heat and cold at the same time. And that's what they explain the Spectrals basically do to you. So, because as you know, they were showing people frozen, but also burned. And that's why their skin looked like it was flaking off every time they were hit. And it was a brutal, because there were characters that I liked in this whole scene. We haven't even left, but that scene this was a runner-up scene for me of my showstopper, because I thought it was a really effective scene. Because remember when they're rappelling out the window, and that was brutal because you see but they show the Spectral jumping out the window and climbing down in a very let's say cat-like, almost very graceful moveset, but also took out the one person and knocked him down. Like that looked brutal.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what made it for me. Because there was some stuff, like, I know you said brought up the whole point with, like, they do quote-unquote military training or military-esque training for these actors so well now that you sure find mistakes anywhere you look. It's not like the 80s where you're firing 500 rounds out of a single mag and never having to reload. But there's another point. There is something that made me laugh in the next act where they're in the warehouse that I'll have to get to, so I'll just wait till we get to there to bring it up. But I think that's where they kind of were like, that was a little cheesy.
Well, then we're just one step away from moving. The last thing I'll say is I was kind of devastated that the one character got killed in this, which was kind of like I guess he was a lieutenant who was talking to the bald guy who came out with the rocket launcher at the end. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, hey, but also the thing that I think they do so well in this is the ramping up. Okay, first it's like you see a Spectre in the very Spectral in the very opening cold scene. You don't know what necessarily happened because you never got to pull off a shot. Then, just in this rising action scene alone, they show, okay, we tried small caliber, or at least 5.6 or whatever the round is, and then they were like, move up to the heavies, and then they even shot a rocket at it, and you think, oh, maybe that did the trick, and clearly it comes through and takes out that lieutenant, right off the bat, which sucked. I was like, man, I liked him, and then we move on. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, they already knew that bullets weren't going to hurt it. I don't know why they thought an explosion was going to do any better.
That's kind of why that whole quote made me laugh so hard. It's like you saw it the first time, it didn't work.
Well, with that, I think we're going to move on to the next section. With no weapon capable of stopping the threat, Klein launches into a gritty, improvised montage of creating spectral sensitive grenades. Basically, DARPA's version of "we have homemade science now" scene. It works, sort of, but the hope doesn't last long. The Spectrals strike harder than ever, blitzing through the tanks like they're cardboard toys. Watching armored vehicles get shoulder-checked by ghost beings is the moment everyone realizes this isn't supernatural, it's something worse.
The MacGyver scene.
Yeah, I love montages. And they didn't have just one. They had 2 montages in this movie. And this is our first one, the grenade montage.
Right. And this is actually the point in the movie where I couldn't figure out, was I supposed to care about the main character? Because he was in the background up to this point, for the most part, and everybody else was pushing the story. And he's just sitting back there when the soldiers are talking to each other after the incident that just happened, and Sergeant Toll just basically goes, "Klein, what do you think?" And then Klein just, it like focuses in on him, almost like Dr. House, him having that epiphany moment of, this is what I think. Like, he all of a sudden had the answer out of nowhere. And I'm like, what is this guy? Is he just a walking, like, plot advancement to be there at this point? Because I don't, as a main character, I'm expecting, like, character building and stuff, and I was not getting that with him at this point.
So, I like that point because this reminds me of a time that I went to see a movie with Bagels and his dad and a couple of other friends. And I think it was King Arthur with Clive Owen. And I remember we get back to your house and your mom goes, "Well, how was the movie?" And your dad's like, "Did you ever watch a movie where the good guys are all, supposed to be the heroes and everything? That's who the movie's centered around, but you really wish the villains win."
Yeah.
That sounds like my dad.
I was like, that's exactly how I feel at this point. But this is where I wanted to bring up when they're in the warehouse, right? They're on the first floor. They meet the one survivor from Utah Squad other than his superior that they found under the tub. And, of course, stereotypical military movie trope. Comms are dead. And they keep trying to use them, even though they know they're dead. Well, mind you, they're in an open warehouse or factory, whatever you want to call it. And if you've ever been to a factory building or an open warehouse, they have mezzanine levels with no walls. It's just railings, so you don't fall. Well, mind you, they spent I don't know how much time down on the first floor, and then when they go up to the second floor, when the guy's like, the DARPA scientist goes, "Well, if I reverse the lens in this, we can use it as a spotlight instead of a camera. We need high ground, though." So you see the whole squad go up these open stairs using tactical movements. It's like, you would know if something's up there already.
The fact that they spend so much time down on the first floor in a war-torn area, it's like, oh, yeah, we can just be dropped in on at any point. We didn't, scout this out whatsoever. And then they find the 2 kids. It's like, who trained you?
So, the part in this, I thought the light thing where they show the iron fillings all around the building, I thought that was a nice escalation, or reveal of like, oh, they can be affected by something, and you're like, well, why is that? And that's what starts getting the DARPA agents mind thinking, what's the effect? And that's how he comes up with the grenade montage, my favorite. I love a good montage.
But
And
I also had an issue with that.
You did? Or you didn't?
I did. I had an issue with that. Because as they meet the kids and they're explaining who their father was basically just a ceramics container maker, they say he's the one who surrounded the building with the iron filings. How did he surround it with the iron filings without the Spectrals getting him? Because he couldn't see them. And how did he know that the iron filings would do anything against them? I don't know if I missed that part where they explain it.
They kept on asking, what did the father did? I think the father actually knew. I don't think it was coincidence. It wasn't like, oh, this is just something I happenstance to get across. I think he knew he was involved with the program, and that is why. But they leave that ambiguous. Now, that could be in the Spectral Ghosts of War comic book, basically, that they had. Possibly.
My mic drop did come in the warehouse as well.
Oh, what do you got? Wait. We gotta make sure.
Mic drop! What's the quote that caught your ear, made you chuckle, or gave you a fear? Mic drop!
Shoot.
So it wasn't even just like a specific one-liner. It was a interaction between Sergeant Toll and Bogdan the kid, where Bogdan goes and does the monster kind of roar when they're like interacting with each other.
Yes.
And Sergeant Toll asks him. He asks him what they are, and the kid says, "Lost souls of the dead. They're trapped between life and death, and they can't find peace." And Sergeant Toll says, "How does that happen?" And Bogdan just says, "War." And I thought that was a nice, profound statement.
Yeah, that's a pretty good line.
And that also is what gave me, not my scene stealer, but, my scene stealer, Sergeant Toll. At that point, I felt like he had, because when you get him introduced early on, he's kind of the jerk to Klein. He's the main jerk to Klein when you meet him in the beginning, and at that point you see him actually like interacting with the kid and showing a more softer side. He's the only person in this movie that I felt had character growth.
Oh yeah, well, honestly,
and that's why he stole the scenes from me in that movie.
That character of the soldiers, the one that was like playing with the kid, as you were saying, he was probably like, I was talking to my wife and I was being like, and he's gonna die. Because the moment they ever show somebody like, look at how nice he is and how cool, yeah, he's gonna die soon.
Yeah.
I agree. That was good. Now, moving a little past that, we get the next scene, which is where they get to actually use the grenades that they had used. Now, a runner-up to my new fear unlocked is that I would not want to go against an enemy that is supposedly invincible and using a prototype grenade that I have no idea whether or not it's actually going to work against, for lack of a better word, is a specter, like a ghost. And I thought that was a cool scene. It didn't quite make them 100% effective grenades. They just did a job of dispersing them or delaying their movements.
Yeah, I agree. I think my new fear came from that as well. Not that it's a new fear, but it's like, it just reminded me of all those video games you play where you're in like a completely black room and you're just using a flashlight to search around the room.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's exactly what they were kind of doing, but in broad daylight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's definitely giving me the Haunted Asylum. Game? Yeah, I'm trying to think of it.
Condemned?
Yeah, Condemned. I remember playing that, and that was definitely not good. So the other part in this scene, before we move on to the next section, that I would like to say is, once again, I think they did a really good job of building up tension and an escalation of, okay, they can take small rounds, they can take grenade launcher rounds with no effect, then they can take grenades with iron fillings. It doesn't kill them, it slows them down. But they're like, don't worry, we've got tanks now with the cameras on them, they should be fine.
Which so incredibly quickly.
The tanks open fire, which I believe all of those people would have been deaf after those couple shots that were fired.
Exactly my thought,
100%, yeah.
I was like, they're all like, oh, you can hear? Because not me. Because I think they'd all have blood dripping out their ears. Like, my ears!
Especially in front of the cannon?
But I thought what was super effective and was cool was like, well, I thought my first glance was that, okay, maybe the Spectrals won't be able to get inside the tanks because like iron filling, maybe, or something along those lines. And then they just shoulder check the crap out of these tanks. And I thought it was a really cool, effective scene. You're like, oh, that tank is like actually messed up, like taken out. And I thought that was a super effective scene.
It was.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So that kind of gave me I Am Robot vibes. I don't remember if there was an exact same scene, but I think in that movie you could see the robots like learning when they were attacking things.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I've seen that movie in 15 years, but it just reminded me of that.
Yeah. And what were your thoughts, Zero, on the shoulder checking the tanks?
Like, I figured the tanks would have some sort of protection, so that made sense. I didn't realize they were going to be that strong that they were going to be able to just, like, start, like, beating the tank into the ground that it was.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand, like, why they gave them the information of, hey, here, create these flashlights, but then not tell them, hey, bullets don't work.
sorry. I did like that. It's like, okay, make these giant ass flashlights. Okay, what are they gonna do? You're gonna be able to see them. Okay, cool. Can we shoot them? You can try. You can see what that happens.
Right.
Well,
and
with that...
And then the scene where Klein breaks the grenades on the ground and then just watches them, like, let the wind blow the iron shards into them. I went, what? I don't understand. You know it hurts them. What are you doing right now?
I mean, the other dramatic part of this movie is just where we lose the kiddo. In this scene, that is also where it happens for dramatic effect. Because I don't even know why he technically ran out. I think he saw a doll or something.
I thought they just got separated. Like, the tanks blew in, and I thought they just got, like, separated somehow.
Okay, because I could have sworn he was going after he just saw some trinket on the ground.
Oh,
but yeah.
I think it was his father's necklace, wasn't it? Because his father was wearing a ceramic piece on his necklace.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because they picked it up from his hands after he had passed.
Well.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Do you have anything else to add in this section, or do you guys want to move on?
I didn't care about the kid dying. He wasn't there long enough. I'll be honest. I got the same feeling that I get because I play a lot of RPG video games, right?
Yeah.
And in a lot of RPG video games, within like the first like 30 minutes, they typically they'll be like, oh, your family gets offed, or the village you're from gets offed, or something happens. It didn't give enough time to like really build up to make me care about the character dying. I had Sergeant Toll been the person who passed in that scene, since we'd seen him since the beginning of the movie, that would have been more impactful for me.
Yeah.
But the kid dying was just like, okay, cool, whatever.
I laugh because the way I think Zero's like, no one gonna say it. I'll say it. I don't care that the kid died. I had no emotional stakes in it. Good riddance. All right.
Well, it also wasn't the most dramatic, I guess, point of the scene. It was just like, oh, he's dead. Okay.
I think the time of finding the children to death of that child was probably somewhere in the 10 to 15 minutes mark. I mean, introduced and then removed. At least that kid.
Yeah. Had the girl gotten killed, that would have been more impactful because she had more scenes or more talking points at that point.
Yeah. All right. I think we're going to move on. After getting demolished, the team regroups and Klein pushes into full mad scientist mode, engineering experimental energy weapons designed to hit the Spectrals on their own frequency. It's another montage, this time bigger, louder, and more desperate, but even with new tech, the odds feel impossible. Casualties stack up, morale drops, and the clock is ticking as the Spectral army grows more coordinated and aggressive. Now, any thoughts on where we're at now? Once again, I will say, I love a good montage.
Yeah, definitely a lot of montages, and I think this is where you can tell the director was a commercial director. Because you see a lot of montages in commercials, and that seemed to be his go-to.
I mean, hey, if it works, it works. It works for me. I love.
Oh, I didn't personally care. I was just like, oh, okay.
So, in this scene, like in this section, I will say two things that I thought I saw. Actually, yeah, okay. So the thing that I saw in that scene is that it's raining outside, right? When they go and get all the crates out, they all choose to walk into the rain and then put their ponchos on. They don't Like, they could have stayed in the building, put their poncho on, and then go out. But instead, they're like, I'm in the rain, now I'm going to put my poncho on. That was just the one thing Andrew and I were looking at going, that doesn't make any sense. But that was
without the goggles, man.
Let's see. I will also say, in this scene, I think I will call out my scene stealer. And my scene stealer is going to be General Orland. Partly because that actor, Bruce Greenwood, I think he had to sell so many lines through the course of the movie that any lesser actor would have said it would have come off hokey. But I think he comes in with a gravitas and grit to make it feel impactful.
I can see that. Was he the biggest actor in the film?
I lean towards yes. I think he was, because I'm trying to think like I said, Steven was Dodgeball, you know what I mean. But I actually think Bruce Greenwood was like the biggest actor to my knowledge, at least.
Yeah, because like the only other actor that I knew from the movie was Emily Mortimer, but that was because she was
Was she a CIA chick?
No, she's a CIA chick because I knew her from The Newsroom, and that's the only thing I've known her from.
Wasn't she the mom in old school, or not old school, Step Brothers?
No.
Huh, okay. Yeah, I thought, but yes, I have seen her, but I can't. Let's just again pin my finger on what she's been on. But yeah, I mean, basically, it was the general had to give that speech. He had to come in shell-shocked, essentially, that they had a squad of like 225 guys and they dropped it down to 25 or something along those lines.
Were they really that close? Like, I didn't know how far away they were, like the main base to where the war was going on.
Well, they have that whole section where they say that they've got enough for 20 minutes of flight time, so they can get there in I don't know how far you can get in a helicopter in 20 minutes, but I'm sure it seems like a decent click. You know what I mean? So they're decently, but they also were setting it up that if they didn't take them out now, it was going to become a bigger problem for the world eventually.
And that was also the place on the two children's fathers drawn map, right?
Yeah, I thought that was the nuclear plant.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, I think we're pretty much getting to the final, so unless you guys have anything else to say while they're in the tunnels, I'm going to move on to the final section.
Nope.
Not really. That was just the only thing I pulled out of that, like that entire scene other than the montage, was just another one of those things where the main character just pulled the answer out of his butt again. He's like just magically remembers the scientific theory that explains the entire spectral thing that's going on.
Well, then let's move on and close this portion of the show up. Everything builds to the massive final assault in the Spectral production facility. With prototype weapons humming and robot dogs charging in, humanity finally goes on the offensive. The team battles through waves of Spectral soldiers, fighting their way to the core generator. When they destroy it, the entire Spectral force collapses instantly. The ghosts vanish, the war ends, and Klein, now burdened with the knowledge of how these things were created, walks away understanding humanity invented something it was never prepared to control.
So, for me, this was my tech envy and weapon part of the game.
So that is where I have my tech envy. Well, I had the goggles, but what is yours?
Well, technically two tech envies, but first it would be the plasma guns.
There's two different ones. There's the mounted version, which is funny because the first shot that they do in this scene is the test shot and they have this giant railgun that has to be mounted on a tripod, and they have to charge it with like 6 different battery clips.
Yeah, so it's that one. And then I also love how they weren't even tested when he built them. They were just like, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happened if they got there and it didn't work?
Yeah.
You've just used all the fuel for your helicopter to get you there.
Yes. And that was kind of where I was going with either I wouldn't have done that or New Fear Unlocked because I'm going into battle with an untested weapon.
At least just make sure it works.
I mean...
Even if it doesn't do anything, make sure it fires. So
for the recurring scene, recurring thing we'd like to have in this podcast is you'd have, if there's ever be a weapon that you want to have take into a battle against a predator, okay? And for me, it's the portable experimental assault rifles. Because if you remember, there's the tripod mounted one, which is only good for like taking out a single unit and takes a while to charge. But the portable experimental ones, which are the small ones, are basically like shoulder cannons, so that is my choice for taking that. I need that weapon.
So my second tech envy in this, and I know we're probably not supposed to have two, but it would be the beds with the nervous systems in them. You could be uploaded to AI or something.
Ah, okay. That's an interesting pick. I didn't think of that.
I actually originally thought about like using that technology, but like that would be a weapon I could need if I'm going into war like against something. But then we just saw it go completely wrong.
You're like, yeah, there's little downsides, just a little. So that's an interesting. So your pick, which is not something that was even in my radar or even in my thought, was the bed itself because it uploads you.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, based on what they were doing, it does seem like it could upload you to, say, like the cloud, and you could use AI to run essentially an avatar of yourself for forever. Perpetuity. There it is.
Yep.
So, for me, this is my... This is my... Showstopper! Which is the scene here, this final climactic scene at the end with all of the soldiers. First, they build up with that suit, trying to be... This will also be that'd be my cosplay. That outfit he's wearing with the tripod weapon has, basically the full camo, the full face shield and mask and the armor. That'd be my cosplay. I'd definitely wear that.
Yeah, no, that definitely looked badass. That was my cosplay as well.
And then same. I would say, so we have the Fear unlocked, but yeah, this is definitely the showstopper for me. Like, just, there was so much going on. They had the escalation of like, okay, now there's stakes. Now they're shooting actual entities that are seemingly starting to fall apart. Now, did you guys notice that they shot a bunch of the ghosts or spectrals? But what happened there is they actually weren't eliminated. They started to form a giant mass. Did you guys pick up on that?
That was actually my showstopper. Is like seeing them starting to form into that giant like tornado-looking monster thing. I thought that was probably the coolest scene in the movie for me. Okay, cool. So that's your showstopper. Yeah, because it worked in there that you were like, oh, okay, that's they're not actually gone. They're coming back. This could be a bigger problem. And that's that escalation that they were doing very well in the show. Now, another part that happened in the show that I thought was kind of, well, so there's a segment I was going to have called The Good, the Bad, and the Funny. And you usually try and say good, bad, or the funny. And in my case, my funny scene is the final scene where he falls multiple what appears to be stories and lands in 2 inches of water and survives like nothing. Like, look, I love this movie, but the ending
It's like comedy gold. The man falls 2 to 4 entire stories, crashes into what basically is a decorative puddle, and stands up like he just tripped over a Lego. Forget the Spectrals. Gravity took a personal day. You know, like that kind of thing. Did you guys pick up on that?
I did. I saw him fall, and I was like, "Oh, he's in trouble." And then it just looked like he just fell over.
Like, yeah, he literally, as if he just fell into like 2 inches of water, and he's like, "I'm good."
Yep. There was no selling that drop at all. He just hit his back and was like, nope, I'm good. I just got a little wet.
Okay, so while we're at it, I want to hear, so we're in that section, so let's hear one good thing you have to say about the movie, Goose.
Excuse me. I thought it looked very good. Like, it was shot pretty well. Like
I think the framing scenery and everything was very well done. Do you have more to say on that, Goose?
No, I just thought it was like a very good-looking film. I
agree, actually. I think that pays off that it was mostly practical. It came out in 2016. You know, CG can fade over time, but I think they also used the CG in a very effective manner that only used it practically for mostly the Spectrals themselves. And the rest was mostly, they did a lot of live, they didn't do studio sets. These were all live locations, so everything felt real. What do you have 0 for a good pick?
I would say, despite me pointing out all of the little flaws that I see, I felt the action in the movie was pretty good. I felt like every scene where the military was actually going in and like doing their thing, it actually felt like really good. It wasn't choppy. You followed it very well. I thought they shot the film pretty good in that sense.
Agreed. And I would say, for me, my good is that the build-up in this movie, I think, is phenomenal. Like, from the very first glimpse of the Spectrals, they're fast, blurry, horrifying shapes, to the later scenes where they're shoulder-checking tanks like linebackers made of ice and electricity. Tension just keeps on rising. I really do feel that. And as the mysteries unfold piece by piece, everything starts to hit harder. And that's where I like to see, like, first you're like, can they get shot? They get shot? Nothing. They try a rocket launcher. Then we try a tank. And then they shoulder check the tank. Like, I think that really stuck with me. But also the other part of this was the sound and the percussion when they would go through a soldier. It just really stuck with me. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll give you an opportunity to say the bad. So what, Goose, is a bad thing you would say in this?
Just one?
Just one.
Definitely character development. Like Andrew said, or Zero said, I don't care about any of the characters in this movie except for the little girl. Which is relatable because I have a daughter.
I still like Sarah's response. No one's gonna say it. I don't care. The kid died. Just know this. He does have children.
Yep.
What do you have for a bad pick, Zero?
I gotta go with the main character. The main character for me was he was completely unrelatable. He wasn't very likable. I literally wrote down wannabe Tony Stark, but far less relatable and likable when I was trying to describe him. Because half the movie he just sat back and waited until the movie needed him to come up with an explanation. For me, that just it threw me off for the movie, because when I'm looking at a main character, I'm expecting it to follow their story. I'm expecting character growth, things that make me want to actually care about the character, and it just didn't hit with him.
Fair enough. For me, I don't honestly, I think this is a very well paced movie, and obviously we can nitpick. I mean, for me, there wasn't huge amounts. Maybe the CIA lady situation when she gets a concussion and they're just like, yeah, you're
they
fine.
just played that off.
Yeah, well, that was kind of that was the only thing. It's like, sure, it's a military movie, but like they're like, yeah, she's concussed. Okay.
And you forget about it 2 minutes later.
They just proceed to move on.
The wound is gone. She's cleaned up like she's professionally cleaned up. You never see it again.
All right. Now, the funny. Now, Goose, do you have any funny
script.
moment or something that you thought was...
The entire script. Like, for example, when he's unplugging the beds with the nervous systems in them. Think of the bigger picture. I am. With the steely look.
Yeah, the old CIA. Come on, we can learn so much.
Oh, and here's the one that got me the most. Before they go on this quote-unquote suicide mission with the weapons they never tested to see if they even fire. Any last words? Now's the time.
Yeah, pretty much. And they were like, yep, now's the time to crap your pants. I'm like, because that's what I'd be like, I hope this works, because otherwise I'm a dead man. All right, Zero, do you have any funny scene or call out?
I mean, for me, it was more personally funny when, the tanks roll up with the flashlights and no way to actually take out the Spectral.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to tell you how to fight them.
Yeah. We're focusing on that we can tell you where they are. Cool.
See,
can I attack them? No.
I assumed the tank rounds were made of iron, and I'm like, that's what I was like. Thought it was hilariously speedy on how fast. First of all, they got the light on top of the thing, and second of all, I'm like, they made those tank rounds real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like talking to them like, I'm so glad you guys brought iron tank rounds, right? Right?
Yeah. And all the soldiers leaving the tanks and going out. It's like, we've established multiple times you can't shoot them. What are you doing?
How about depleted uranium? That's the best we could do.
Well, we pretty much summed up the movie for the most part. I mean, he basically walks onto a plane or a helicopter. It was a plane, and then the remaining squad just goes back to combat.
You can tell in the end of that scene though that, like, Sergeant Toll looks like he's gone, because the look in his eyes as he's like strapping back up to just go back on a mission. Like every character development that happened to the movie is just like gone. Like his eyes at that point are soulless, and I don't know if was meant to be part of like the journey in the movie or if that's just the way they told him to act the scene out.
Yeah, no, I agree on that. Because
the female scientist is like, they have the conversation of, I wrote it down. Where did I write it down at? Where Klein says, they don't stop, do they? And she says, I don't think they know how. And it's like, you just spent the entire movie showing that these guys do have more to them than just being mindless soldiers.
Yes, I agree on that. Well, do we have anything else to say? Because what was actually kind of cool is we organically added the categories and segments in there. We got our showstoppers, mic drops, scene stealers. We got our tech envies, new fear unlocked. I wouldn't have done that. Came up a couple times. I need that weapon, and that'd be my cosplay. The only one that we did not use, and for obvious reasons, was I want to live there. Which I don't think any of us are like, I'm going to let that one go. So, with that, we're going to go over our bagel. This is our official rating system for the Noble Thoughts by Idiots show. We have 5 categories. Number 1 is our one and done. Pretty self-explanatory. A solid movie worth watching once, but not something you need to revisit. Number 2, our watch twice, think twice. A movie strong enough that it deserves a second watch, usually once in the theaters and one at home. Our number 3, our highest rating, is a can't get enough. This is the oops, I watched it again rating. You turn it on for one scene and suddenly you're 45 minutes deep with no regrets. It grabs your attention, demands focus, and doesn't let go. If somebody suggests watching it, you're already hit and play. Number 4, our seasonal staple. A movie woven into the fabric of your year. Halloween, Christmas, summer adventure season. Whenever its time rolls around, this movie becomes tradition. It's not just a film. It's part of your personal holiday calendar. And what I will call our second highest rating, Background Gold. A movie that's endlessly fun, endlessly rewatchable, and perfect to have playing while you cook, clean, work, or simply vibe. It's chaotic comfort food, the kind of flick that doesn't require attention, but always rewards it. You might not sit down for every second, but you love having it to the room. So, I will throw it to Goose first. Of our rating system, which are you going for Spectral?
Definitely one and done. Like I said, solid B movie, but no need to watch it again.
All right, you've heard it there. Now we're going to go on to Zero.
Oh, this takes my seasonal staple. This really takes over my Independence Day instead. No, I'm kidding. It's definitely one and done.
Okay, because I was like, wow, this is not where I thought this was going. I was like, oh, geez, I was like, this is awesome. We did it. You cynical sons of bitches. All right, I'll do it. All right. So,
I got him. It took the entire time, but I got him.
So, for me, I will call this this is going to be a watch twice, think twice for me. So the official rating is that because it's an awesome movie. We watched it when it dropped in 2016, and revisiting it again in 2025 just reminded me how underrated it really is. The visuals still hit, the tech's still cool, and the vibes are still peak sci-fi military goodness, but this is one of those films that actually benefits from time in between viewings. The gaps make the mystery feel fresh again, and the world building hits harder when you're not burned out on the details. Fantastic movie, just beef, best enjoyed with some space between watches. And that's exactly how I feel, because like we watched it in 2016, and I've always known about this movie, and I go, why do not more people talk about it? Finding out it has a $70 million budget, I can clearly see the budget. Like, nothing looks cheap about the movie. It is very, like, the costuming to the sets, everything is well done. And I think it's a good movie to watch years apart. So, now we've done our review. And now we're going to go back to find out what next week's movie is going to be. Now, I will say we're back to trivia. Now, before I start these next 5 clues, I want to know, do either Goose or Zero have any idea what movie I was leading to with the first 5 clues?
I will say yes. And if it is what I think it is, it's one of my favorite movies from childhood.
Well, in that case...
And if it's not this, I'll be very disappointed.
Zero?
I'm going to say no. Like, the clues put me in different movies, so okay. I'm not there.
And to let you know, they start out hard, and they work their way to easiest. They're intentionally vague and hard at the beginning, because we want to see if you can come up with it. So I'm going to move on to our next clues. Clue number 6. A dance contest plays a surprisingly important role in the team's progress. Clue number 7. A rival military instructor tries to sabotage the main character's leadership. Clue number 8. A famous lullaby is transformed into a horrifying tactical bedtime story. I will even give the bedtime story. Chugga 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 choo choo.
Alright, then I'm right.
Clue number 9. The lead actor is part of one of the most iconic comedy families of the 1990s. And this is more or less one of the easiest question. So before I say this, how we feel on Zero? I think Goose has already got it, but I want to see anything for you.
I'm blanking so hard.
Okay, I'm gonna give this number clue. The main character's name literally rhymes with the word pain. I'm
He in
gonna
there,
throw
he
it.
ain't happy.
If he's still in there, he ain't happy. So I'm gonna give it the goose. What is next week's movie?
Are we ready?
Go ahead.
Yep.
Are we ready? Saving Ryan Private Ryan. Just kidding. Major Payne!
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
I'm very happy. I was like, I'm hoping he's gonna know this movie. I mean, one of them's got it. Now.
No, I was trying to think of that Demi Moore movie and I couldn't remember the name of it.
Oh, G.I.
Oh,
Jane.
G.I. Jane.
That's it.
Yeah. So, Zero, have you ever seen Major Payne?
Yeah, I've seen Major Payne.
Okay, cool. Okay, so next movie we will do when we do our next podcast, we're going to go with Major Payne.
Hey.
So, until I believe, unless anybody else has anything else.
Just as a recommendation, recently watched a movie kind of in the same vein as the movie we just did. Sci-fi, military. Surprisingly good. It's called Osiris on Hulu.
Osiris.
Again, B-movie. Very well done. Keeps your attention.
I will definitely
cheesy.
check that out. And we will start a log where we can have multiple movie suggestions in the future when we get more consistent with doing this. But for now, we're just learning. So, I believe as...
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Well, you heard Hudson talk, and so I think it's time to end this show off. So, as we always say, try something, fail something, laugh often. Until next time, noble idiots. As promised, here's one of my original Slumbering Knights tracks, inspired by our kids' book, My First Paranormal Book, and a new story where cryptids dance to music. This tale is about Bigfoot, the dance master.
They call me Bigfoot, I go by many names. Sasquatch, Yeti, Momo, they only caught a photo. I am Bigfoot, and this is my song. I've been dancing for way too long. Saw by many, seen by few, caught by none, that's all I knew. It's been a disaster for a paranormal crew, found by none, so the legend just grew. You can't find what can't be seen, my dancing skills are sharp and keen. Bigfoot, the dance master, internet is soft and no one's faster. You can't catch me, I'm on the dance floor, grooving all night, moving more and more. They call me Bigfoot, I go by many names. Yowie, Grassman, Skull Game, they only caught a brief tape. I keep the beat with my big old feet. I can go slow or fast as the rhythm leads. My friends call me Sass, short for Sasquatch. My big toes got a stomp you can't top. What people don't know, here's the secret. I'm a dance master, light on my feet, undefeated. Traveled the world, but all they can find is a casting of my foot left far behind. They call me Bigfoot, I go by many names. Year of Sean Bass, Skookum, they came for a look and I spooked them. My name's Bigfoot, here's my story. Been around for centuries, but it got boring. One and the same, I go by many names. Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, favorite names. Internationally known, everyone tries to take my dancing throne. King of the stomp, I won't be beat. Keeping the groove with my big old feet. Protector of the forest, friends with Chuck Norris. pressing on with my big old feet. I keep the beat. I'm a walking drum, can't be beat. Bigfoot. They call me Bigfoot, I go by many names. Yowie, Craftsman, Skunk Ape, they only caught a brief tape. I keep the beat with my big old feet. I can go slow or fast as the rhythm leads. My friends call me Sasha, Sasquatch, my big toes gotta stop, you can't stop. What beat the beat? I'm a dance match. Yowie, Craftsman, Skunk Ape, they only caught a brief tape. I keep the beat. I'm a walking drum, can't be beat.